Welcome to Stick to Sports. I'm Joey Pulatsky.
And I'm Zach Malama. Today, the Astros force a Game 6, the Packers win in Arizona, and the Jets pull off a shocker at MetLife.
Roll it. The Houston Astros were victorious in Game 5, taking a 9-5 win in Atlanta on Sunday night. Houston lost games 3 and 4 and trailed 4-0 after the first inning of Game 5 before the bats got hot out of nowhere, and now the series goes to Houston. Zach, do you see the Astros keep the momentum rolling and win the series, or will the Braves end up celebrating a championship at Minute Maid Park?
I called Braves in 7 when this series started. It was a great comeback win by the Astros yesterday to go down 4-0 after Duvall's grand slam, and that type of atmosphere in Atlanta was perfect and exactly what Houston needed. They are still alive and have 2 home games to try and close it out, but I think going down 3-1 is too big of a hole to crawl out of. Whether it is in Game 6 or 7, the Braves will be celebrating at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, I originally had Braves in 6. I'm going to have to audible now. I'm going to say Braves in 7. I'm much more confident in Ian Anderson getting a win for the Braves than Max Fried, in all honesty. Ian Anderson, in his postseason career, has thrown 8 games over 35 innings. He's got a 1.26 ERA, while an opponent batting average holding them to a .159 overall. The Braves have also proved they can win in Houston. I think they'll get the job done. Freddie Freeman wants a ring without a doubt. The Braves are real good, regardless of what happened yesterday. This is a real good franchise.
No doubt, but going over to the NFL, there are no more undefeated teams in the NFL season after the Green Bay Packers beat the Arizona Cardinals 24-21 on Thursday. Green Bay was without 3 wide receivers, including All-Pro Davante Adams. Rasul Douglas intercepted Kyler Murray in the end zone with 15 seconds left to seal the victory for the Packers. Joey, did we learn anything new about Aaron Rodgers?
No, I've been saying it all year, ever since that Week 1 loss. Aaron Rodgers is still the man, Zach. The only thing we learned about Aaron Rodgers this week is why he grew his hair out, was for that John Wick Halloween costume. That's what he said. He said we'd find out on Halloween night, and we finally did. But we know Rodgers is the man, and we know he can win regardless of who the receivers are around him. Devontae Smith, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and Allen Lazard were all out on Thursday Night Football. The Packers still get the job done. The Packers defense ranks top 10 in least passing yards per completion. That defense is rock solid. The offense has been real good. The Cardinals are good, but I still think this NFC is between the Rams and the Packers, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think the Packers are the best team in the NFL right now. They beat the undefeated team. They are on top. We didn't learn too much more about Aaron Rodgers, though. To beat the best team in football, an undefeated team on the road without their top 3 wide receivers, is insane. Aaron Rodgers is 7-0 without Davante Adams. Who would expect that? Huge credit to the defense, though. A massive stop on the goal line.
The New Orleans Saints defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 36-27, despite the Saints losing starting quarterback Jameis Winston to a season-ending ACL injury. Trevor Siemian stepped up under center for the Saints before the Saints defense put the nail in the coffin on a P.J. Williams pick 6 with a minute and a half left in the fourth quarter. Zach, how strange was it seeing Tom Brady throw a pick 6 in a situation he would usually lead a game-winning drive?
I think it just shows the talent of this New Orleans defense. Brady had a solid game, but he's going to want those interceptions back. Brady has 7 losses since joining the Bucs, and 3 of them have come against the New Orleans Saints. Brady and Arians consistently said they needed to be better after the game, but I'm interested to see how New Orleans now responds without Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill is coming back from injury, but he wasn't too consistent last year. Will the Saints rely on Trevor Siemian instead? We'll find out next week.
Yeah, I'm with you, Zach. Even though the Bucs did obviously take the loss in the game, I think the Saints take the bigger loss with Jameis Winston being out. The Buccaneers still know they have Tom Brady. I really wouldn't worry much about him. He's led 50 fourth quarter or overtime game-winning drives, 3rd all-time. He'll be just fine. I wouldn't worry about it. But the Saints continue to be weird. They beat the Packers and the Bucs now. They have losses to the Panthers and the Giants. It's an extremely weird Saints team this year. The Bucs are right there in the NFC after the Rams and Packers. I really wouldn't worry much about Tom Brady at all.
The New York Jets defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 34-31 in a shocking upset on Sunday. Jets quarterback Mike White became the second quarterback in NFL history to throw for over 400 yards in his first career start. The Jets trailed by 11 points with just under 8 minutes to go and scored 14 unanswered points in the last 5 minutes. Joey, what does this do to the Bengals' season expectations?
Oh, this is the most confusing result of Sunday, without a doubt. Week 6 and 7 were subpar with action. Week 8 had a lot of great games, but this Jets win over the Bengals is absolutely stunning. The AFC North is going to be close at the end with, I think it's going to be Burrow, Lamar, and if Baker's healthy, they'll be there. Big Ben's got his name in the hat as well, but this loss doesn't end the Bengals season. The Jets just always somehow, some way find a way to beat the best teams. If anything, it might be a good sign. Last year, the only 2 Jets wins came over the Titans and, the Rams and the Browns. And those were both playoff teams last year. Now the Jets have wins over the Titans and the Bengals. Both of them might end up in the playoffs this year as well. There's still plenty of season left for these Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I think every team in the AFC has had a good win and a bad loss so far this year. I'm still riding with the Bengals and think they'll end up making it into the playoffs, but their defense needs to be a lot better. They allowed 511 total yards to Mike White's Jets offense. One of the best ways to come back from a loss is against the Cleveland Browns, who they play against next week.
We're going to take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Up next, we'll look at more games from NFL Sunday and check in on the college football season. Stay tuned right here on WTOP 10.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities.
At Oswego is where I've really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
Made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. The Pittsburgh Steelers took an ugly AFC North battle with a 15-10 win over the Cleveland Browns. While there was not a single interception thrown in this game, the two teams combined to go 7 for 23 on third down, as both defenses were rock solid all day long. Zach, how surprised are you the Cleveland Browns are in last place in this division after 8 weeks of football?
I'm not that surprised, just based on the caliber and the additions of the other 3 offenses. The Steelers still have Big Ben, and I think his career is hanging by a thread right now. But they gave him a very talented running back in Najee Harris, who ran the ball 26 times yesterday. The Bengals set up the duo of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, and Chase is top 5 in receiving yards and touchdowns. And finally, the Ravens drafted Rashad Bateman, signed Sammy Watkins. What did the Browns do? Nothing. They added to their defense. That was it. Every team in the AFC did something to improve their offense this offseason except for the Browns. That's why they're in last.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for the Browns is just all the injuries they've had. Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Baker Mayfield still not fully healthy. They've been going through a lot. Where was Odell Beckham yesterday? That's my question. He had 1 catch for 6 yards, hasn't been injured in a few weeks now. Jarvis Landry also missed time as well, but Odell's been fully healthy for a good amount of time now. Both teams had no offense yesterday, 1 passing touchdown combined. You're right, Zach, Big Ben's career is hanging on by a thread. There's some real good quarterbacks in that division, but somehow, some way, the Browns in last place right now. On Sunday night, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the Minnesota Vikings 20-16 as the Cowboys got the victory despite not having Dak Prescott. Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb each posted 100-yard games, and the Vikings were held to 278 total yards. Zach, the Cowboys have now won 6 straight games, and they don't face a whole lot of great teams the rest of the way. How long do you think this squad can keep the win streak rolling?
There was no question coming into the season that if the Cowboys stay healthy, they are easily a playoff team. It is once they get to the playoffs and then the problems start. Even without Dak Prescott, they beat a very solid Vikings team. The defense looked really good, but my one thing is Trayvon Diggs. He needs to stop going for interceptions. We saw him get burned against Kendrick Bourne and the Patriots. Other than that, the Cowboys will keep winning games. They look really good, and nobody's challenging them in the NFC East.
Yeah, I'm with you. The NFC East is one of the weakest divisions in football, and like you said, if the Cowboys can stay healthy, they definitely got a great shot at it. I think they might keep this win streak rolling until Thanksgiving. They're going to play the Raiders then. It's going to be a good game. Next 3 weeks lineup versus the Broncos, versus the Falcons, then at the Chiefs. This Dallas Cowboys squad could very easily end up 9-1. If you hit that 9-win mark in the NFC East, you're locked in the playoffs without a doubt. 9 wins is definitely going to win the division. What about that ball by Cooper Kupp at the end of the game? No Dak. Cooper Kupp makes a great throw to seal the game to Amari Cooper as well. And Kirk Cousins continues to be awful in primetime. In the lone overtime game of the day, the Tennessee Titans went to Indianapolis and defeated the Colts 34-31. Carson Wentz threw a pick six to give Tennessee the lead late in the fourth quarter. Wentz then led the Colts to tie the game before Randy Bullock ended the game in overtime as Tennessee got the win. A.J. Brown posted 155 yards, but the Titans have potentially lost Derrick Henry for the season. Zach, with Derrick Henry out for the Titans, do the Colts have a chance at winning the AFC South?
The Colts could come back, but not if Carson Wentz keeps making those mistakes. Both interceptions were terrible. He's bringing back Eagles Carson Wentz with those throws. I don't think anyone in the AFC South is catching the Titans, though. They're 6-2, and Henry is expected to be out 6 to 10 weeks. No team over 3 wins in that division. I don't think anybody's catching Tennessee.
Yeah, I still think it's the Titans, but the chances for the Colts just became a lot better. The Texans and the Jaguars are pretty much already eliminated. But without a doubt, I think it's still going to be the Titans. The AFC South, it's another weak division in football, but keep in mind, the Titans, even though they might lose Derrick Henry for the year, he's the best running back in football. They still have Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones. There's plenty of weapons on that offense.
The number 8 Michigan State Spartans upset the number 6 Michigan Wolverines 37-33 in a wild game in East Lansing. This might be known as the Kenneth Walker III game. Michigan State's Heisman candidate turned 23 carries into 197 yards and a career high 5 touchdowns. Joey, was this outcome at all surprising to you?
It was somewhat surprising to me, Zach, honestly. Michigan State has won 3 of the last 5, but Michigan still kind of feels like big brother in this rivalry. Michigan State's been doing a great job recently, turn things around, make it their 2nd straight Paul Bunyan Trophy win now. But Kenneth Walker seemed to have his first Michigan versus Michigan State game circled on his calendar, transferring into state this year. It seemed like he was looking forward to this one yesterday. Like you said, 197 yards, 5 touchdowns as well. Looked great. Michigan and Michigan State both still have to play Ohio State as well, so we'll see how the Big Ten shapes up the rest of the way. But Mel Tucker is now 2-0 against Jim Harbaugh, and Michigan State was unranked to start the season. Mel Tucker needs some credit for turning this program around.
Yeah, this result was really surprising. There's going to be a lot of film for that Michigan defense. Kenneth Walker III just crushed them. What was the game plan, though, for Michigan's defense? Michigan State quarterback Peyton Thorne was coming off a game where he threw for just 126 yards. So what does that mean? Focus on the key part of the offense, and that is Kenneth Walker. They did not do that at all in this one. The number 5 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes staved off the number 20 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions 33-24 on Saturday night. Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud threw for 305 yards and a touchdown on 65% completion. The Buckeyes actually moved down to number 6, with Michigan State jumping up to number 5 in the AP poll. Joey, does Ohio State deserve to be in the top 4?
I don't think they should right now, but they still have games against Michigan State and Michigan. Their chance to get into the top 4 is definitely still there, especially with the Big Ten championship game being a possibility. The winner of that Big Ten championship is without a doubt going to be in the college football playoff. They should hop over Alabama or Oklahoma if Ohio State manages to beat Michigan and Michigan State. But as of right now, I think it's bad that they slid down the rankings, but I also don't see how you work them up after beating Penn State.
No, they don't deserve to be in the top 4. They beat a ranked team coming off of 2 straight losses in Penn State, and they lost their one game against the top 10 team, that was Oregon. The undefeated teams deserve to be ahead of them. They didn't look great in this game against Penn State, but they did enough to get by. The last 2 games will define Ohio State's season. That's versus Michigan State and at Michigan. The number 18 ranked Auburn Tigers upset the number 10 ranked Ole Miss Rebels by a final score of 31-20 on Saturday night. Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral failed to have a passing touchdown for the first time this season. Joey, how much does this loss hurt Matt Corral's Heisman chances?
See, Zach, in my eyes, Matt Corral has never had too much of a chance at winning the Heisman. While the Vegas odds may slightly disagree, since the college football playoff started, 6 of the 7 Heisman winners have been in the playoff. Ole Miss has been on the outside looking in the whole way. You need to get in that college football playoff if you want to have a shot at winning the Heisman. It's all going to depend on the Final 4 in the football playoff. Kenneth Walker could be there, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams. Those are all teams on the bubble right now. We obviously just talked about Kenneth Walker's game yesterday, made a great case, but I don't think Matt Corral's got any shot at winning the Heisman right now just because Ole Miss isn't on the inside looking out.
Yeah, I think this one hurts Matt Corral's chances. Every quarterback's going to have a bad or below average game at some point in the season. He had a brutal interception in the end zone midway through the 4th quarter. Corral wasn't fully healthy, though. The ankles were both a problem in this game. But usually, like you said, the Heisman winner comes when they are in the playoff or near the playoff. This loss basically ends those chances. Just one ranked opponent in their last 4 games of the season. That will be against Texas A&M in a couple weeks. This one definitely hurt his chances. We have to take a quick break, but when we come back, Joey will be joined by Ben Diamond. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Stick to Sports.
When you are in space, you can't run down to the store to buy parts. You have to improvise with what you have on your mission. Making is when there is something new that was not in existence at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
It's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you have made something. That's why I make. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Good evening and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Total, Baldwin faces 32 charges.
Saturday, I went to Woodchuck Saloon.
Too much temperature change.
1310 meteorologist.
2 as well. Visions from Tanner Spink.
Go to 2-1.
2 with 6 and 10 on the year.
Once there was a boy who did the same thing again and again. One day, he was told he had autism. He got help and slowly learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. Joining me now is Ben Diamond, one of our producers. Ben, what do you have for us today?
Earlier today, the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Rams put together a blockbuster trade, sending Von Miller to the 7-1 Rams. In return, the Broncos received 2 picks in next year's draft. Miller, an 8-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl winner, bolsters the already strong Rams defense that includes guys like Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. With this trade, it solidifies the Rams as a top defense in the league. And are the Rams now a top the top Super Bowl contender in the NFC.
I think it was Rams-Packers for the majority of the season. Now it's even more so. It's even more solidified. This Rams defense just got way better. Von Miller is such a great rush quarterback, or rush linebacker, I should say, getting on the quarterback, getting on sacks. He's not much of a pass coverage kind of guy. He's going to be there. You're going to have to worry about not only Aaron Donald, but now you're also going to have to worry about Von Miller as well. And then you still have Jalen Ramsey, and offensive lines are going to have a very tall task with 99 and 58.
Yeah, they're definitely now not only a defensive juggernaut, but they're also an offensive juggernaut with the Stafford Cup connection, with also Robert Woods and Darrell Henderson. They can hit you from all angles, whether it be running or receiving. Anything they can do, they can probably do it better than your team.
Yeah, the Rams are clicking on all facets. Like you said, Cooper Kupp might break the receiving yards record this year. Matt Stafford's been really good as well. But Von Miller, I think this is great for him, obviously, because the Broncos are somewhat out of the playoff picture. He's got a chance at going and getting another ring. I think the asking price was very low as well, 2 second-day draft picks.
Yeah, I think definitely after this, especially with the Cardinals losing, they definitely jumped them after this. Moving over to the Titans. After Sunday afternoon's 34-31 win versus the Colts, the Titans came out and said that Derrick Henry injured his foot during the game and that it will require surgery. This is a huge blow for the Titans, as Henry is a huge part of their offense. In his absence, the Titans will have to learn to lean more heavily on starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill, as they won't have the same running power as they used to. To replace Henry, the Titans are giving future Hall of Famer Adrian Peterson a chance. Do the Titans still make the playoffs even in the absence of Henry?
I think they definitely do, just because the AFC South is so weak. This isn't if Derrick Henry, if a Derrick Henry caliber player is on a team in a lot of different divisions, the Titans are probably doomed, because there's going to be a team coming for you. In the AFC South, there's not a whole lot brewing. Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Julio Jones are all still there. I think the Titans will be all right. Obviously, losing Derrick Henry is going to hurt, but I think the AFC South is still the Titans' division to lose, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree, but I also disagree, because I feel like what we saw when Tannehill wasn't using Henry, he wasn't really comfortable. And I feel as though he's still, we'll just have to wait and see what he does with Adrian Peterson and how they work together, because obviously he's starting on the practice squad. So we'll have to see how he works in this offense, because he hasn't been the same Adrian Peterson as we've seen in the past. After a disappointing season under former manager Jace Tingler, the San Diego Padres are taking a new approach when it comes to their new manager, former Oakland Athletics manager Bob Melvin. And he fits that description. As the head of the A's since 2011, Melvin has been able to take them to the playoffs a few times during his tenure. He was also able to guide them through a rebuild. The Padres hope that Melvin can bring his magic to the club and help the Padres win a championship.
Yeah, Bob Melvin has a lot better of a resume than Jace Tingler. We'll say that. Bob Melvin is the 8th man to win the Manager of the Year award 3 times. Did it once with the Diamondbacks, twice with the Oakland A's. Also was born and raised in Southern California, managed the Oakland Athletics. He's staying home in California. It's a very fitting move for them. There's so much talent on the San Diego Padres, from Machado, Tatis, Hosmer, Will Myers, and even the pitching staff as well with Yu Darvish. And there's so many guys there. But Jace Tingler only got 2 seasons as well as the manager. He came from the Dominican Winter League. He didn't have a whole lot of a chance, but it's a great move to go to Bob Melvin.
Yeah, it was definitely a great move, but as you said, the pitching, I still feel like you can't really rely on a guy like Yu Darvish after the Spider Tack crackdown, so they still need to look for pitching if they want to go somewhere next season.
We'll take a quick break here on Stick to Sports. Thanks once again to Ben for his segment. When we come back, Zach and I will go through our best bets and what to watch for. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Stick to Sports right here on WTOP 10.
All across the country, people are coming together to speed up what we can learn about health. The All of Us Research Program is calling on 1 million people to join us as we try to change the future of health. For your family, for future generations, for all of us. Visit joinallofus.org and find out how you can become 1 in a million.
Our son Arjun was born with cystic fibrosis. CF is a genetic disease that shortens lives. When the foundation was founded in 1955, children with CF rarely live long enough to attend kindergarten. Today, thanks to the foundation's groundbreaking research, advocacy, and care, some people with CF are attending college, getting married, and starting families. We've made amazing progress, but until a cure is found for all people with CF, we will not stop. Help us add tomorrows. Visit cff.org today.
Is there a danger hiding in your home? Unused opioid medicines could harm your family. Find your unused opioid pills, patches, or syrups and learn how to dispose of them safely at fda.gov/drug disposal.
Welcome back to Stick to Sports. My What to Watch this week comes in the NHL as the top two teams in the league right now meet on Saturday night. The Florida Panthers host the Carolina Panthers in a great early season matchup. Carolina is the lone unbeaten team left in the NHL with an 8-0-0 record and looking to extend their best start in franchise history. This is also the fourth longest winning streak to start a season in NHL history. The Florida Panthers are still yet to lose a game in regulation this season as they look to move past the resignation of head coach Joe Quenneville. Both goaltenders lead the league in wins, with Carolina's Frederik Andersen at 7 and Florida's Sergei Bobrovsky at 6. What a matchup we have in the NHL, and it takes place on Saturday night at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, Zach, especially this early in the NHL season. I'm excited for all three primetime games in the NFL Week 9 slate. All eyes are on Mike White Thursday night as the Jets quarterback will look to lead the Jets to back-to-back wins for the first time this season. White and the Jets will get the national spotlight against Carson Wentz, who may have strung together the two weirdest back-to-back drives at the end of regulation yesterday. Sunday night, we get the delight of Titans versus Rams. Von Miller joins the star-studded Los Angeles defense, and A.J. Brown looks for 100 yards for the third straight game, which would be a first for him in his NFL career. And the Titans will also have no Derrick Henry, of course. We wrap it up on Monday night on ESPN as the Steelers defense goes up against rookie quarterback Justin Fields. Week 8 was a great week for football. Let's keep it rolling next week, especially in these primetime games.
Yeah, some great primetime games. Let's see if Mike White can continue it going against a Colts defense that has been struggling. But how will the Titans respond without Derrick Henry? No better team to play than the Los Angeles Rams, who are cruising right now. Now shifting to best bets. After the Ole Miss money line didn't hit this weekend, I need to break my college football losing streak. The number 7 ranked Oregon Ducks traveled to Seattle to take on the Washington Huskies. Oregon is coming off a blowout win against Colorado, while Washington was victorious on the road against a struggling team in Stanford. I like the Oregon spread in this matchup as 6 of the Ducks' 7 victories have come by 7 or more points. I expect Oregon running back Travis Dye to have a huge game against a Huskies defense that is allowing 178 rushing yards per game this season. Give me the Ducks at -6.5 over the Washington Huskies Saturday at 7:30.
-6.5 seems a little light there. I might have to get on that there, Zach. I'm coming off a Titans win. It was a lot closer than expected, but that's why we love gambling. The Carson Wentz pick 6 and the Randy Bullock game winner is what dreams are made of. This week, I'm sticking in the NFL and taking Green Bay on the money line as the Packers open up as 3-point underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City being the favorites solely because of name brand is insane. There's not a single team in the NFL that holds a record that's not above 500 that would or should be a favorite against the Green Bay Packers, besides the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City comes in on short rest after playing Monday night, and Green Bay gets extended rest after playing Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers just ended an undefeated season without their 3 best wide receivers. The Chiefs have already lost to a handful of playoff teams, and the Packers are legit. Rodgers is going to tear up this Chiefs defense. They allow 8.6 yards per pass attempt, which ranks amongst the league's worst in the NFL. Packers on the money line, lock for Sunday.
That's all the time we have on this episode of Stick to Sports. Be sure to tune in next week right here on WT.